Hey guys, what's up? Darcy here at 6 Strings 9 Lives, back for a CD vinyl update. Would have loved to have gotten to this update a couple days ago, but that whole head cold thing I had going on moved into my chest and felt like I was hit by a 2-ton heavy thing. But I am back, not 100%. Actually, you know what? At my age, I don't even know what 100% feels like anyways. I usually top out at about 92% is pretty good for me. But anyways, I got a few things to show you. I had a pre-order here for a reissue that I've wanted for a long time on vinyl, and it actually arrived before the release date, which the release date is Friday, October 28th, and I rarely get things early. I do sometimes get a new release on like a new studio album on that day, but this is, I think, almost a first for me, but this is a brand new reissue by Metal Blade Records of a classic thrasher piece that I did not know back in the day. Only kind of got onto this one, you know, through friends and here on YouTube. But this is Vio-lence, Eternal Nightmare. Like I said, just brand newly reissued over at Metal Blade Records. I ordered this one directly from Metal Blade Records, so you know, maybe that's why it came a little bit quicker than if, you know, other routes like Amazon or something. But if you don't know this album, classic Ed Repka artwork. This reissue is kind of a matte type of finish. It's not as bright as the original, which I'll show you a little comparison here in a second. I don't have an original, but I have something that came with this to show you. But just an awesome album. Most would say this is they've never topped this. They just recently kind of reformed and put out an EP. Was it the beginning of this year? I think it was. Personally, not fond of it. I didn't think it was that good. Definitely miles away from what this is. I'm not sure about their second and third album. I need to dig into those a little bit further, but this one came on a, let me show you. This is a Bloody Flesh Marble. So I'll read you the hype sticker. The Bay Area classic from 1988 finally gets its treatment remastered for vinyl. So definitely one I've been looking out for. When I first heard it a few years back, I was like, yes, I definitely love my thrash, and you know how I missed it back in the day. No idea. Happy to own it now. Here is that Bloody Flesh vinyl. It's more like kind of just a pink marbly to me, but whatever. It's well done. Metal Blade and their anti-static bags. They do a great job. And here is the, this is like a little bit of a fold-out gatefold page. This is just like album credits. All lyrics by Sean Killian. All music by Phil Demmel. Here's the back. Here's the band. So I think they reformed with just, what, three-fourths of the original lineup. I know Bobby Gustafson actually just left Vio-lence, so, you know, I'm not sure if they're going to, you know, find a replacement, but here's the lyrics. And if you've never heard this album and you're into thrash, you definitely need to check it out. It is top-notch thrash, and this one came with, I could name a bunch of favorite songs, but, well, I'll definitely, Calling in the Corner, great track. Kill on Command, Serial Killer. But this came with it. This is a kind of a CD-sized download card. So I'm going to flip this over. Whoever wants to check out this album, go ahead. I do not need this. Just go here, pause it, whatever. First come, first serve type of thing. Go check that one out. But this is what I was saying about the cover. This is a little brighter. This is probably a little more truer to the original. And I picked this one up on cassette just because I did. It was available, so I thought I'm going to get it. You know, this would have been cassette. I probably changed over into cassettes around 90, 91. So if I would have known about this back in the day, I definitely would have had it on cassette. But this is a cool, you know, reissue, nostalgia thing from Metal Blade. Love when they do that. There is one other album that absolutely needs a reissue from Metal Blade, which they have the rights to. 6 out of 7 of the Death albums are on another label, but Death Symbolic is a Metal Blade property of whatever you want to say. But that one needs a reissue, and it definitely needs a cassette too, so I can add it to my Death cassette collection. But anyways, brand new reissue of Vio-lence, Eternal Nightmare. Go check it out. Awesome thrash album. Definite thrasher piece, as I said before. Next up, let's go. If you like beer, I do like beer too. Not drinking beer right now. Actually, I got a little bit of green tea going. I'm starting to feel better. Anyways, at the start of the year, I thought, I really want to work on my German Big Four thrash collection. And Tankard was one of the bands that I'm not going to say neglected, but I just never really got into them. And then that box set came out, 1,000 Beers or whatever it's called. I love their early stuff, but I also like their later stuff too. So I've had these 3 CDs for a while, and I got them actually fairly cheap. 2 out of 3 of these I got for $6.99, which is, you know, that's a deal. But here's kind of quickly go through these 3, and then I'm going to show their new album and talk a little bit more about that one than I will about these. But this is their 15th overall studio album, A Girl Called Cerveza, 2012 release. And on here, where is that on here? Oh yeah, right on the top of her head is 30th. So that's their 30th anniversary. These guys formed in 1982. If you're familiar with Tankard, beer is a big theme on every album. It doesn't dominate. You know, I was thinking about like Running Wild. People call it pirate metal, but no one calls this beer metal. You know what I mean? So, a lot of, you know, these guys sing about political stuff, just general life stuff, funny observations. Yeah, and cool lyrics. I really enjoy them. They don't take themselves too seriously. This is, like I said, this is a 2012 release. Some really cool songs on here. My favorites, actually there is a, but not one of my favorite songs, but their Doro is on this song called The Metal Lady Boy. Not the greatest track actually, but there's lots of other good ones. Rapid Fire, the opening track. And where's that other one? Actually, Son of a Fridge, good song. Weird title, but there is A Girl Called Cerveza. So, and here's the other one I got for $6.99. This is their 16th studio album from 2014. This is R.I.B., Rest in Beer. And, you know, of course, you got the beer theme, beer-related cover. I love their artwork. They use, you know, quite a few of the same characters throughout their albums. But this one, and I'd say these gradually, as I'm going to show them, get better. Not that any of them was bad, but some of them just stick out a little more than the other, put it that way. Check out the track War Cry, and then you got your, you know, you got your typical kind of, you know, beer-related stuff like Fooled by Your Guts. And then you have the title track, R.I.B., Rest in Beer. Breakfast for Champions, you know that slogan. Nothing like a beer after a hangover, or maybe not. But Enemy of Order, another great track. Or check out one of my favorites, Riders of the Doom. This is R.I.B. from 2014. And then I picked this one up a little bit more for this one. It was kind of harder to get, actually, and it's only 5 years old, but picked this one up over on the Nuclear Blast website. This is One Foot in the Grave from 2017. And like I said, love this artwork. Their logo, I've always loved their logo. It's always the same nice red with the, you know, the silver outlining. But this is, and there you can see, so 2017, so this is 35 years, like a 35th anniversary of the band, One Foot in the Grave. Here's the back cover. Actually, I didn't show you the CDs and stuff, but lots of them have the artwork on here like this. This is three in a row that they were on Metal Blade, or sorry, not Metal Blade, sorry, they're on Nuclear Blast. And then their latest album is on a different label. We'll talk about that in a second. But yeah, this one, I'd say gradually better and better each album until the new one I'll show you. Pay to Pray. So there, there's another, kind of just life situation song, and they do talk about sometimes uncomfortable subjects, things like that, things that you just, like I said, general observations about life and what's going on in the world. Syrian Nightmare, good, very good track. And Arena of the True Lies, love that song too. So this is One Foot in the Grave from 2017. And then finally, so I think I'm only a couple albums away of completing my Tankard collection. Now I really want to spend time with each one. When you get a bigger discography, what tends to happen if you're trying to catch up is one thing will blend into the next, and I don't necessarily like when that happens. So I try to, just concentrate on one album at a time and then kind of go away from it, then grab the next one. I know you're never going to replicate that, all those years that are in between like you did back in the day, because, we all knew albums like the back of our hand because we only had, a few a year type of thing. But this leads into their brand new album called Pavlov's Dogs, and another cool, I love this artwork. This is cool. Kind of some familiar looking characters there. And this would be, 40 years now. So since 82, this band has been going for, probably since their inception, a little over 40 years. Still making really good music, in my opinion. And I actually really, really like this album. This is, I know it's hard to say that this is the best one out of the four. I think it's very, I don't know. It's just a really solid album. The music is phenomenal. This band has been, this lineup of this band has been together for years now. And I don't know. I'll just go over a few tracks. And this one, very cool. So this is their first album on Reaper Entertainment, and it came actually with a CD, which I still love when bands do that, or labels do that, I should say. CD came with the vinyl, and this is Reaper Entertainment Limited Reaper Edition beer colored vinyl. Yeah, it kind of does look like beer, but check out some tracks. Of course, you got your beer stuff on here for sure. Beerbarians, I think, was the first single. Pavlov's Dog, which is the opening track, is definitely beer related. But then you get into some really cool stuff. My favorite track on this album is called Veins of Terror. The lyrics are just awesome. Diary of a Nihilist, Lockdown Forever, which is very witty observations of the whole, the whole COVID thing, which quite a few bands have done their own COVID, song and threw those in there. And another one of my favorite songs on here is called Metal Cash Machine. Kind of, just a funny look at promoting themselves and selling t-shirts and all this kind of stuff. So, but yeah, go check this out. 2022 release from Tankard. I would say it's in my top 5. It is, the music is so good and the lyrics just fit. But here's that beer colored vinyl. That is, I don't know what kind of beer that would be, but that is a beer colored vinyl, if you're wondering. Cool center ring on that one, and cool center ring on that one. So I don't know if this is my first album from Reaper Entertainment. I'm not sure. It might be, but well done. Good job. And it also came with a little flyer thing with all their t-shirts and box sets, CD, whatever. Actually, I think the box set came with a lot of stuff, even some demo cassette stuff. So yeah, check out the new Tankard if you're interested. On to the next one. I have a bit of a list of, one second, albums that I would like, music on vinyl to do, and one came up again. Still 2 on my list that I would really love to see, and that would be Accept, Restless and Wild, and Sanctuary, Refuge Denied. I know they've done that one, but I missed out on it. But I won't miss out on it next time. But one that was on the list that I just picked up and has made an appearance on my top 50 series of videos, which if anybody's interested, I will be wrapping up part 4 and part 5 in the next 2 videos. But this is Metal Church The Dark, my favorite Metal Church album from 1986. When I was very lucky to see these guys open for Metallica on the Master of Puppets tour. I just love this album. I won't spoil anything for you if you want to watch that other video, but and I do like music on vinyl. I think they do a great job. This is not super glossy. Lots of their stuff is super glossy, but this is just perfect in my opinion. There is the cover, the tracks, songs, all that stuff. My favorite 2 tracks will say Start the Fire and Burial at Sea. Here's the inner, just one-sided with lyrics. And the vinyl, which they do a lot of, limited to 2,000 individually numbered copies, silver. So they definitely do a lot of silver and red. And then their initial run is always the colored, more limited. And then they go into having another, pre-order for the black vinyl, which is fine too. It doesn't matter to me. But here is that. It's just been on my want list for vinyl forever. I have, I think, 3 other Metal Church that Music on Vinyl put out. Human Factor, Debut, and Blessing in Disguise. Great job. Sounds awesome. Happy to have that in the collection. All right, next up, let's grab this CD. This is another new release that I actually got on release day, which was October 21st, I guess, if I'm not mistaken. This is the brand new album by Queensryche called Digital Noise Alliance. This would be their 15th studio album, 16 if you include that covers album, Take Cover, which I've never heard that album, no desire. Yeah, 4th album with Todd LaTorre on vocals. This one, initially, I listened to it once and I'm like, you know what, this is just sounds like more of the same from these guys, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, but I've always been kind of a, excuse me, a completist when it comes to Queensryche, and I do really like the Todd LaTorre era, and I think if you've heard this album, correct me if I'm wrong, but they really channeled back on quite a few songs here to the kind of the Promised Land meets Empire, and meets Here in the Now Frontier. It has your typical, those dual leads, little intros. It definitely sounds like Queensryche. There's no doubt about it. They've tried there's some stuff on here one track in particular, I think it was like the 3rd single called Forest. It's kind of a ballad. Not my thing. There is a bonus track cover of Rebel Yell by Billy Idol. If I had any desire to listen to that song, I'd definitely go to the Billy Idol version. It's okay, but there is some really good tracks on here. My favorites. By the way, I'll just show you there's the back cover, and this is a digipack. What is this, Century Media? Yeah, Century Media. Actually, a nice digipack. But my favorite tracks are In Extremis, the first single. I don't think that song... I think that song is the best song on the album, to be honest with you. Behind the Walls, really good track. And actually the last song, Tormentium, if I'm pronouncing that right. Actually quite heavy, really good track too. And but, I love Todd LaTorre. If you did not hear his album from, one second here, from last year, I hope he does another solo album like this. This is his Todd LaTorre solo album from last year, Rejoice in the Suffering. Actually, it was my album of the year. It is that good. It is more straightforward metal than Queensryche, less progressive. It's got, this one's just kind of a mixed bag of, you know, and Todd's range, his voice, man, he sounds anybody like a Helford Highs on here, you know. Yeah, definitely check this one out, but not a dud for sure. I think long-term Queensryche fans will really enjoy this. Is it as good as The Verdict? I don't know. Time will tell type of thing, but yeah, nothing really new, put it that way, but not a terrible album. All right, on to, let's go over to, what do we got here? A couple more. If you watch this channel, you know I'm a big Raven fan. I just like the fun nature of the band, but this is not a new studio release. This is kind of like a collection, compilation, whatever you want to call it. This is called Leave 'Em Bleeding. It's, you know, not a long album, and there's a couple live tracks, but what this one has is a few tracks from Extermination, their second last album, and then their last album, Metal City. It's got a live track of Crash Bang Wallop, live track of Stay Hard, couple cover songs on here. We got Space Station Number 9, and the first single was a cover of Rock This Town, which is just a fun song. This was released just, I think, a month ago on SPV Steamhammer. Probably just putting something out that, you know, just to, you know, get some cash flow going type of thing. But anything Raven I'll pick up. I really enjoy them. You know, I don't like themselves. I don't take them too seriously either. I just have fun with it and listen to it. And here is the inner, just all the lyrics, credits, and the vinyl is black vinyl, and the centering's pretty cool. So yeah, if you're a Raven fan, I'm sure you'd be interested to pick this up. Probably not totally necessary. You know, just excuse me, few repeated songs from their last two albums, but the you know, the cover songs are pretty good, and the live tracks are also pretty good. So continuing on with yeah, last two for the day. I am a big Savatage fan, some albums more than others, but this reissue campaign that they started here in last year. So this is going on year 2 of a reissue campaign of 12 albums, so 11 studio albums, and then I guess you could call it a mini album, the Dungeons one is basically a mini album to me, but I'm going to pick them all up, but I won't lie to you guys, these aren't their best work, but I do find good stuff on these albums. But if I'm going to get you onto Savatage, I'm going to point you to albums like Sirens, Power of the Night, Hall of the Mountain King, Gutter Ballet, Streets, stuff like that is, you know, if you're just new to the band, go for that. If you want something a little more epic, and these are both concept albums, go for these. This next album I'll show you kind of spawned the whole Trans-Siberian Orchestra, which I actually don't even own any of those albums. Some of it's just a little too, I don't know, is epic the right word? But I can't get into that Trans-Siberian Orchestra stuff totally. I do like some of it, don't get me wrong. But anyways, on with these reissues. This is Dead Winter Dead, Ear Music. Amazing job on these. I just, the work that has gone into these it's mind-boggling. These booklets, they're just like full-on stories, but I'll show you those in a second. So there is your Dead Winter Dead lineup, and I think we still had John Olivia involved, but this incarnation of the band, Zach Stevens on vocals. We still have Johnny Lee Middleton, Chris Cafferty, who joined basically full-time around the Gutter Ballet tour, I think, or just actually maybe, no, Edge of Thorns, sorry. Al Petrelli, Jeff Plate on drums. Jeff Plate, you would know him from a number of bands, including Metal Church, but here's the gatefold of this, and this one came with, where is that? Okay. Savatage Grand 1995 concept album. limited collector's edition with a 16-page booklet and a tour poster replica, which is very cool. I'll show you that tour poster. It's well done again, and there is some dates on the bottom, tour poster. So this artwork of this kind of gargoyle type of guy, or whatever you call those, is Gary Smith, the same guy who did, you know, the covers of Hall of the Mountain King, Gutter Ballet, album cover for Edge of Thorns. Didn't actually do the cover of Dead Winter Dead, but he does have some artwork input here. Here's the inners. There's a band shot right here. Lyrics. Another one. Double vinyl, like I said. And this one is, what did we say this is on? Well, it's red vinyl. Both are the same. I'll just show you one. And so after the next one I show you, there's only one more to go as far as I know. Poets and Madman. I don't know if they're doing any live stuff. And then I'm really looking forward to Ear Music's campaign for Annihilator. They're going to release about, I think, 13 to 15 of their albums. Probably the same kind of 2-year schedule type of thing. But here's the booklet for this. Just awesome. I don't need a lot of books to read, because this is like it's a freaking just full of info of what was happening at the time. Great shots, photos. These guys in the studio with Paul O'Neill. There's John there too. And of course, you know, this is after, all after Chris had passed away. Yeah, like, not a bad album, but just not the album that I would point you in if you're just new to Savatage. But there's the band shot. So yeah, and like I said, these booklets are intense. So that brings us into the last one. This is not last one more to go after this. I think the pre-order's already up for Poets and Madmen, but this is Savatage, The Wake of Magellan, another, you know, full concept story. I do love the artwork here, but the thing that pisses me off the most is they changed their logo, you know, more to like a storybook type of logo, which I just don't like that one. It's the only one of their, I think probably the only one that they've done that. But anyways, I'll get over it. I've already gotten over it. But here's the band shot here. Even as a 6-piece, John is here too. And probably, oh geez, on my Savatage ranking, I would say I think this was one of my least favorites. But again, there's some really good tracks on here. The Ocean, the leadoff track, really good. Blackjack Guillotine. There is, I think, two songs on here with John on vocals. Paragons of Innocence is one of them. But these are the albums where they get into those, what they would call syncopated vocals. Those da-da-da-da-da-da, and they're singing, they're layered and layered and layered. And that's kind of where I kind of fall off with, you know, songs. I just... whatever, but still Savatage. I'm going to definitely keep it in the collection. This one came with a cool lenticular cover of the album cover. I'll try to wiggle that thing and move it. But yeah, this is very similar to those Dio lenticular covers. Yeah, definitely be worth framing, putting up on your wall. And we got, what do we got here? 2 inners, lyrics, credits, and... So yeah, really well done, well thought out. They definitely had the, you know, the collector mentality when they were making these. This one is on orange vinyl. Both of these are also available on black vinyl, and some of the packages are, you know, limited to not as much stuff in it. Like I think the black version of Wake of Magellan does not have the lenticular cover, things like that. So, and a little bit cheaper of a version too, you know, $3 or $4, but this one's on orange vinyl. And here is the book for that one too, which again, they made this look like just so old school looking. It's awesome. Another, what is it, 16 to 18 pages of info, Savatage, the whole story of the Wake of Magellan. man, I think I read in here that even, because I think a lot of this stuff is like Paul O'Neill inspired of his stories. And I think I read in one of these that John didn't even know what the story was about in the beginning. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was this one. But yeah, got some cool stuff here. And again, this is just love the whole you know, what they've done with this whole set. It makes it worth it, you know. Like I said, even if they're not their best albums, but I am a Savatage fan and have been since probably 1986, and definitely miss Chris Olivia, great guitar player. But that is it for today. If you're out to grab this, it is getting released right away. Don't forget about this. And what else do we got here? Definitely check out the new Tankard album. And I will be back very soon with those next two parts of my top 50 albums of all time, which I've really thoroughly enjoyed. And anybody that's popped by that's new to the channel, welcome, really appreciate it. And always to the usual suspects, appreciate it too. But that is it for today, and until next time, stay heavy.